Michelle, Natalie.
Hello.
Hello. Thank
Congratulations
you.
for this season's of Fox's Lego Masters.
Thank you so much.
That was certainly a real cliffhanger that you two actually participated
Yes,
in.
it was.
Hey, so tell us the origin story on how you two actually got together on this. I mean, because from my understanding, Michelle, you're the Lego
Yes.
expert, and Natalie was introduced, right?
Yes. So, okay, so we met, gosh, was it 5 years ago, Natalie, or so? 5 or 6 years
Probably
ago?
6, something like that now.
Yeah, they were, we met at church, and Natalie was in charge of a bunch of like the renovation stuff for like revamping the church, and I was a volunteer. And so I volunteered for many projects. And so we got together and worked, collaborated on a bunch of different things for that, lots and lots of different projects. And so we were used to working well together, and she's a creative and I'm a creative. And I'd actually applied for season 1 of Lego Masters with another partner who's also a creative, but she was unable to do she had other commitments, so she couldn't join me or she couldn't apply for season 2. And so I was like, gosh, who do I know that's creative? Let me think. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if Natalie want to do it. I don't even know if she does Lego, but like, but I'm gonna ask her. So I messaged her or called her, and I was like, hey, so what do you think about applying to be on Lego Masters with me? And she's like, sure, I'll do it. And then it wasn't for quite some time that
A couple months later
we got a call back, and so they called me, and then I immediately called her, and I was like, oh my goodness, are you sitting down? Okay, hold on, let me tell. And then I was like so excited. I was like, okay, you can back out if you want, because I know you said yes, but life changes, and it's crazy because COVID and all that stuff. And I'm like, but I got.
We're actually in the middle of a move, and so
yeah.
She's like, can you hop on a Zoom call? And I'm like, let me find a space that doesn't have boxes piled up to the ceiling. I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll figure it out. And so like whenever I said yes, like I was like, yeah, sure. But like doing a lot of creative stuff that I do, you apply for a lot of stuff, you never hear anything. There's tons of like, amazing opportunities that just don't go through. And so I just thought, sure, we'll apply, but probably nothing will come of it. And then surprise, like we were, got a call, and then we would interview some people, and then we wouldn't hear anything for a while. And then we're like, okay, maybe we didn't get moved on. And then we'd get another call, and we're like, okay, I guess we're still in the running. It was a fun little roller coaster to be on.
So Natalie, when did you start, playing with the Legos? Because it must have been fairly recent, because it sounds like Michelle's been playing it for a while, because you could tell by her background.
Yeah, Michelle's been doing this for like what, 5 years or so.
So I've been like, I'm dabbling with my kids for 5 years or so. All of this is just in the last, well, some of it's been like a collection. Some of it's their stuff that they kind of started collecting. And then we moved into this house, I guess, 7 or so months ago. So this is the first time we've had an actual official Lego room with bins and sorting stuff and all of that. So it was, it's been a whole process, but yeah. So about 5 years or 6, or just kind of off and on. But all my stuff was put into storage when we got a call back from Lego Masters, because we were in the middle of a move as well, which is funny because we were both in the middle of a move, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then my stuff had been in storage for quite a while. So I was like, oh man, I better get stuff out and start like practicing up. But yeah, so I don't know. I think
I was gonna say, for me, I had built with Lego as a kid, and then hadn't really pulled it back out until I had kids of my own. And then it was just something fun for us to do together, or get them talking to me more, telling me what's going on at school, or like what their hopes and dreams are. And then we would build something that would be involved with that. And so, none of our builds, like me and my kids, would be anything super impressive. It was more like relational, to like do something together. My 5-year-old likes to build like towers or houses with little realtor minifigs, and she sells the house to these minifigs. And then they renovate the house, and the bathroom gets moved from here to over here. And so she watches a lot of renovation shows with me. So she's very into that. for her Lego builds. So a lot of it would be nothing impressive, but things that have really great memories attached. So having the opportunity to do something like Lego Masters, when we first started applying, I started watching about 1 million hours of YouTube to try and learn as many techniques as I could. And Michelle and I would send photos back and forth, and she would be like, okay, so next time do it this way, or, you know, like this amount of, you know, bricks equals that. And like, you'd have to remember to swap this for that. And so we kind of sent stuff back and forth, and I just tried to digest as much information as I could to go from building little houses with my daughter to trying to build something large scale for Lego Masters.
Never quite thought it was so complicated, but both of you have renovations and DIY, you know, backgrounds. Do you find that as an advantage for yourselves, or do you find it as a disadvantage because everyone is on the show is so professional or competitive?
I would say like ours was an advantage for us. I mean, and two, because like it, you know, it was something that like we knew how to work together in a lot of ways. So so that was good that we had like work experience together. And then just taking some of like the techniques that we would use in like building like other projects into this, like building larger scale, because some of the stuff, like when we were renovating the kids' spaces in the church, everything was like large scale and fun and whimsical. So we definitely brought that to our Lego Master builds. Sorry, my phone was going off. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Throughout the entire season, children seems to be on your mind quite a bit. I mean, they seem to matter a lot, especially between Legos and children, right? For yes. Your family, for you too.
Yes, for sure. I've been a mom since I was a kid, so kids are always on my mind. So.
Yeah, I think also too, being away from our families for that long of time, I think had our kids and our families on our brains even more. It also was pretty natural for both of us to incorporate, you know, a childlike perspective or stuff for the kids into our builds, because a lot of our projects from like DIY stuff or interior design stuff would be to create something fun and functional for our everyday lives, which include our families. And so like in a lot of our spaces or projects that we've collaborated on or ones that we've consulted each other on have been like, how do we make something like beautiful and fun that my kids are also going to like? Or how do I turn this playhouse into like the best playhouse in the world? And so I think a lot of that was pretty natural for us to tap into, I guess.
Yeah, lots of fun birthday parties and kids' rooms in my past. So
most excellent. You know, one of the things I'm going to note is out of the all the interviews that I have conducted this season for Lego Masters, you two are the only one that kept your outfits that you wore on the same theme on the show. Everybody else has like abandoned their outfits. Like, no, we're not going to wear that anymore.
That's funny. Yeah, these are like I wore overalls like pretty much my whole life, off and on. So I actually almost wore that same color coverall today when I saw
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, but I had it on, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna put on my overalls. You know, it makes it more like, you know, we wore both, but I chose the overalls today. So
yeah, I like the coveralls. Like those are my favorite. Like I have a pair of real overalls in real life that I wear. The ones that we wore on the show were not like my first choice of thing, but I'm like, I do wear these, but like the coveralls from our look were definitely the ones that I felt more comfortable in. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not put on our stuff from the show for the chats.
Great, that is terrific. Natalie, one more thing. You still want Will's job?
You know, I will just keep my phone on with the ringer on in case they want to give me a call. I'm happy to guest host anytime.
That is terrific. Well, you know what? I was cheering for you because one of the things that you may actually realize is that, you know, there's a lot of boys on that show, and you two were, you know, one of the best female groups on the show, and you're an inspiration to a lot of girls everywhere.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much. Hey, thank you for carrying this conversation with us for Fox's Lego Masters. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for your time.